Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Just Shelve It. I'm Jesse Arnold, and this is Shooting the Shelf Special Edition, episode number 23, coming to you live with Emil Wickman. Before we get to Emil, I would like to bring on my new co-host, the one and only Curtis Ackerman.
Hey, everybody.
Curtis is coming on to help with the show and just to hang out and geek out and chat with us. So this is fun. We're just gonna see how this goes, and I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for helping out, Curtis.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I've been interested in doing a show like this for a while, and I've been on a few of them, just kind of temporarily popping in and helping out. But this was the only one that wanted to have me on permanently, so I appreciate it. But no, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, as I was telling you before the show, it just was never something to occur to me to think that anyone would want to do a show, and then we started talking the one day, and it's crazy that a year ago I didn't know who you were, and what was it, like March or something? We messaged a couple times, I think, on Facebook, and then now, we talk pretty much daily to some extent. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I know another guy is waiting in the wings here to come on. We won't make him wait much longer. Someone you're happy you work with at Wolf King, with all the stuff you guys do at Wolf King Customs. The only Emil Wickman.
only Emil.
Hello there. Nice to be here.
Hey, Emil.
Hi, guys.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And I wanted to make sure we set it at a good time slot for you, that it wasn't like middle of the night for you.
This is perfect. I've been to a dance and gymnastics exhibition today with my daughter. So I just got home and I feel like, this is relaxing to get to talk to you guys about the best hobby in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I heard somebody say that, because you got two shows today. And this is going to be the more PG show. And then tonight we got Pete McCarthy, and that who knows how that's going to go. So,
well, I think the only person that's pushed my my rating level out of PG, maybe a hard PG-13 or a soft PG-13, was Matt Rod. Dropping the F-bomb the one time.
Yeah.
But I do have my show set to not for kids, so I just it's in the safe zone.
So you say we can do this.
You can if you want to.
Yeah, we could say
my mom will have a talk with me afterwards.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to do anything naughty when your mom is looking.
No wife.
No.
Looks like we got a couple of folks hanging out in the chat here. J Mac, what's up? Thanks for joining. John Caulfield coming all the way from
Luxembourg.
Yeah. The Irishman in Luxembourg.
Yeah, that's true.
Eric.
These are all great people.
Yes.
And we have Maverick on top of the.
So we'll get to this. We'll get to this question real quick. Emil, what paints did you use for the Griffin armor?
I haven't painted the Griffin armor yet. Sorry, Maverick.
Oh, and Mark Rivera just joined in. Hello, Mark. Nice to see you.
Mark.
Hi. It's crazy. Like, I have pieces sculpted by Emil on my shelves. I have a piece that Curtis painted on my shelf. I actually put that together as a full figure finally. And Mark Rivera, I've got some of his sculpts as well. It's just so crazy how this hobby has.
It's like a family hobby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the great things I found about Legions Con, is just trying to get some pieces from each of these people that I consider to be friends. Like, I just want a piece of theirs in my collection. And so, I don't know, that's one of the fun parts for me about the hobby, is just having parts from other people. So.
Absolutely. So Emil, we've all heard a lot about Mythic Legions and how you got involved in all of that, and with all the Wolf King stuff through various shows. So we'll talk about that, I'm sure, a little bit. But let's get into some other stuff that maybe you're excited about that you don't always get to talk about.
Sure.
Curtis and I, we know we like X-Men. You said something else, Curtis, and I just went blank on it.
I'm not sure. I know X. I was really excited to hear like how Emil got introduced to X-Men, because I know Jesse is really a comic guy. I didn't know the X-Men until the cartoon, which Jesse does not like me for.
That's not true. That's not true.
And so we have different feelings on the X-Men, but I know, Emil, like from a lot of your customs that you've done, you know, X-Men definitely has a special place for you. So where did your love of that come from? And can you kind of talk a little bit about that?
Mm-hmm. So a long time ago, in the late 80s, perhaps early 90s, I had some comics, some of few issues, you know. I remember there were really great stories, but I only had a few issues. So you know, at the end of the issue, there was a to be continued, and I never had the continuation of these different versions. But then they started to sell in Sweden. I mean, they had Spider-Man, but then they had Mega Marvel. They had a comic that they called Mega Marvel, and it was pretty thick, and it consisted of, each or every second month there was a new issue of Mega Marvel, and in that they had different. I mean, there could be a whole issue with stories from the X-Men, or it could be about Thanos, or Daredevil, or whatever. So you get a lot to read at once, you know.
It's almost like a trade paperback, like collection.
Yeah, exactly. A trade paperback, a pretty thick trade paperback. So a lot of my stuff, I got introduced to many many different Marvel characters through that. Many weird ones, and yeah.
So,
but I mean,
what was
so during that era, I'm gonna continue with the X-Men, for example. That's where I have my love when it comes to Gambit, for example. I love the stories with him and Rogue. You know, I see Eric is writing about that, the Claremont comics, and I didn't realize that at the time, but when I've been researching back, I realized that, oh yeah, I realized why I love that. That was really good comics. I mean, they were well written by Chris Claremont. So I know some don't like Gambit at all. I loved him, for example.
I love Gambit.
I loved the Rogue Gambit. They can't touch. They love each other, but they can't have physical contact. And I'm like, yeah, one day they'll you know, something will happen because they got to be together.
Yeah, like I think it was like the early 90s. They did a little Gambit mini series, like a 4-comic mini series, and that was when they were doing a lot of the like metal foil looking covers, and they had like where there's like an image like kind of embossed and like sticking out a little bit, and they did a Gambit series like that, and I loved it. I was a huge Gambit fan. Oh, I'm a huge Gambit fan. Out of all the X-Men, he's my favorite. So
wow, cool.
Yeah.
So I'll say this. I think I've grown up enough. I don't hate Gambit. I don't like Rogue and Gambit together. Especially after the way they kind of shoehorned it in the comics currently. Like, I literally like chucked that comic where they got married across the room when I read it the first time.
I haven't read that. Maybe I was lucky not to have read it.
But it was just really cheesy because like it was supposed to be Kitty and Colossus's wedding, and then they both kind of chickened out. So everybody's like, "Well, we're here," and Gambit's like, "We'll get married." And like Rogue and Gambit hadn't even been like in the same comic for several years at this point.
Oh, you know what? This is the area, the big era of time when I didn't read. You know, I didn't read this, so I didn't see that. I mean,
Gambit was just a couple years ago.
Yeah. Okay. I actually haven't read Marvel comics for many years. I started to bring it up. I read the big trade paperback with to get up to speed with the X-Men. You know, where they gather all these Power of X and House
I'm
of
sorry.
X. And that's a lot to read, and I realized I was so excited, and I read that whole thick card. Okay, these are the characters that I love, and I just realized, okay, so if this means I'm up to speed where everything I guess I'm not that interested then. So I was like, I was a little bit sad because I didn't want to feel that after having read that. So then it's like, I think for now, maybe I'll focus on those great memories I have of the X-Men and keep those are my X-Men, you know?
Yeah.
Is that
No, I'm the same. I'm still buying the main X title, and House of X, Powers of X, or Powers of 10, whatever it's called. Like, it feels like these look like the characters I know, but so many of their personalities are not right.
Oh, yeah, okay. So it continues like that. So
it's still going on right now. Yeah. I mean, that run is still going, but that's just me. I know a lot of people do like it, but it's not working for me. But the artwork is great.
Oh, the artwork was great.
Yeah, I
House of X, Power of X. Yo, you like that, Eric? Eric liked it.
Yeah, Eric says he likes it. I don't buy too many comics anymore. Typically, if I hear of a good story that is, that people are recommending, I'll go to like the Comic Historian or something on YouTube and like have somebody kind of break it down for me, that way. Because I just find that easier than, if I start getting into comics, it's like I start buying all the variant covers and doing all this stuff.
Oh, okay.
And next thing you know, I've got a pile of stuff that I haven't read, and it's just it's an addiction for sure.
Then I'm gonna say that I'm not like that, but I love comics, and even if there has taken time when I've not read, it's still like I love comics.
Oh, absolutely.
So I keep looking at different top lists on YouTube from time to time to see what trade paperbacks to get, and it's like I've started to. I mean, I have a lot of amazing comics on my shelf here, and some I have not read yet. I started to read this big Monsters, it's called, and
Monsters?
Monster.
Joe says comics have been on the downslide since the 90s. I wouldn't disagree with that. I think that both Marvel and DC have done a lot of try to reinvent themselves over the years. But go ahead, Emil. Sorry.
No, I'm just gonna somehow I'm not finished it. But this is a masterpiece. And I this summer when I had vacation, I made sure that I have comics, because as much as I love sculpting and painting on my computer, I really love that. But it's still like there's something special about hiding my phone and go outside on the couch for hours and just read comics. I realized that that's kind of like, what do you say when you need to get away from an addiction? It's really like
escape.
I just put this phone here and then I go out. And this summer I read the best comic I've ever read in my entire life, and it was something totally different than, I mean, we shall go back to Marvel, but this was something that's like, I had to stop reading to wipe my tears because I couldn't see what I was reading. And afterwards, like, me and my wife was gonna go for a walk, and I was just, can I tell you about this comic I just read, because I think I need to just explain it. And she's like, yeah, sure. And then I started to talk, and it's like we had to stop walking because I was crying so much. And it's like, what's wrong with me? Maybe this comic is just perfect for me right now, but it's like, and that comics is still here.
Well, you got us on the you got us on the edge of our seat. What was it?
It's called, I'm gonna show it. I have plenty of really good comics I can recommend sometime, but this The Day Tripper.
Okay.
And I'm not sure. Maybe some people would say that's it's not about superheroes. It's nothing like that. But I mean, and I don't think I even should say anything about it. But it's strange. It's but nothing when it comes to comics, movies, has moved me like that comic did.
That's awesome. So
I do remember crying when Colossus died many years ago, back in the 90s, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But
that was a good heroic moment. Yeah,
it was. And then 1 year later, because then I remember I cried, but then a year later when he got back, I was like, I felt all cheated. This was one of my favorite characters, and it's like,
yeah,
I cried for you.
that's
And now you're back. I mean, I want you to be here, but it's like, damn, Marvel. You know, they
too soon.
tricked me, and I should know by now. But that's
Well, that's always been the joke, is that characters other than like Uncle Ben and Gwen Stacy, characters don't stay dead in the Marvel universe, right? Especially the
No.
X-Men. And well, now that's almost like the joke, because they have those resurrection protocols. So like they die, they just get reset. They just don't remember whatever happened since they left the island.
yeah.
In a way,
Yeah.
that's kind of a cool idea, but it feels more like it feels like this whole run feels like Ocean's 12 to me.
Yeah.
Which that movie, good acting, great performances, but like there was no way you could figure that movie out. It was kind of like, haha, we tricked you, but we never showed you the things that you could have gotten to figure this movie out. And that's what I feel
liked
this
it.
whole run. It's good, but it also annoys me at the same time.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Have you read Die?
No.
I would recommend that. It's about a couple kids in the 90s playing a D&D, like a homebrew type D&D game, and they get sucked into the world of the game, and they disappear for a couple weeks. And in the comic, it just cuts to them coming back like weeks later or days later. One of them didn't return, and one of them is missing an arm. And then it moves into the story, you know, they're in their 30s and 40s now, and they're all like maladjusted adults that get roped back into this world. It's not light reading. It's very intense.
Yeah.
It's very good though.
I wrote it down now because I have this list. I have this list of things that I eventually will get. I have stuff that I have gotten that I'm not read yet, but that it's like I know it's good stuff. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of good comics, but I guess I am a bit when it comes to Marvel, because when we say Marvel, that's what I love the most, but it would probably be what I would be buying the least right now, because I love the memories. Like I said, I love the emotional rides that I've been taking. I love the, you know, Kitty and Colossus, Rogue and Gambit. I loved Wolverine stories and hated some of them as well. Yeah, but anyway, it's like. And now it's like, I don't want to be disappointed. Well, if I get a trade paperback that is, I know this is start to finish, this is something unique, something by itself. If I get disappointed, it was only that, you know, it didn't ruin that character. I just have to welcome. Yeah, my daughter is. You don't have to hide. So you know, so maybe. But I know, I got the Old Man Logan. I read that this summer. That was a good one. I appreciated that one.
Yeah. For me, like when I was a kid, I was very much into DC. I was not a Marvel guy growing up.
Yeah.
So until the cartoon came out, I really didn't know anything Marvel. And I think that was, you know, right as I was kind of getting ready to go into my teenage years and stuff. And that's when it kind of changed for me, because like up until then, it was all black and white for me. And that's really what DC is. It's like, you know, you got your good guys and bad guys, and they're, you know, whereas Marvel, I feel like they did a much better job at that point, making these characters multidimensional, and there's a lot of shades of gray. And so as I got into my teenage years, I started moving more towards Marvel and those characters, because there was just a lot more depth to them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've not read. I was just gonna say I have not read much DC, but I take that back before I finish that sentence. But I've read a lot of Batman, different trade paperbacks.
But Batman's different because around the late 80s, early 90s, they started to make Batman a lot more dark and have. You know, there's some storylines there that are a little bit more Marvel-esque, I guess, as opposed to like your Supermans and Green Lanterns. That it's, you know, I mean, Superman's called the Boy Scout for a reason. Like he does, you know, everything he does is good. You know, it's wholesome, and he's, you know.
Oh, but have you read Superman Red Sun?
Yes, it's a good one.
Love that book.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
my favorite DC is New Frontier. That will be my capstone of DC books.
New Frontier. Not heard.
It's written and drawn by Darwin Cook. Rest in peace. It's all set, and I think in the 60s, kind of like the end of the Korean War, but it's right in that sweet spot era where it's not like the 40s setting of DC characters, but where, like you were saying, Curtis, that black and white, where, I mean, they've got nuance and stuff in this story, but it's definitely more, I feel like they're more fleshed out. Like by the end, that book, by the time I get to I've read it a couple times, I'm always in tears reading the end of that book. Because I feel like it just really hits what I love about the DC universe.
Is it a completed one?
Yep.
Yeah. So I really think that there are a lot of great suggestions here. Some that I read, some that I've not read in the chat. And it's we maybe we need to make a full comic episode only.
Sure.
Yeah, with the reviews, we like bring 5 or 10 comics each, and then we talk about them, and it's like, yeah,
all right,
I'm up
Curtis,
for that. I'm up for that.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So, have you guys seen? Just had to look it up because I forgot the name of it. Brightburn, the James Gunn movie from a couple years ago. Did you see that, Emil?
What was
he
it
just
called?
Produced it, didn't he?
It's called Brightburn, and basically it's like this kid that it's kind of the original story of Superman, but what if the kid turned out to be kind of like sadistic and so he's got Superman's powers, but he's not the good wholesome, taking care of everybody, and it's kind of it's interesting for sure.
Interesting as in, I mean, is it good as well, or is it
I liked
interesting?
it. Yeah.
You liked it. Yeah.
I liked it, but it's definitely not Superman for
but
sure.
I mean, but seriously, if we didn't have Superman, we wouldn't have any other of the superheroes. I mean, he was the first comic superhero, and he must. I mean, Superman must be Superman. You can make fun of Superman as much as you want, but he is like, I mean, you know that I love Captain America when it comes to Marvel, but I mean, Superman is supposed to be. He's like, or they're pretty similar when it comes to what they symbol, I guess. But I mean, I actually read a lot about the story of Superman because I was interested in how it started and about the authors and And
I kind of always looked at it like DC characters, or specifically Superman, is like who you aspire to be, but the Marvel characters are who we really are. That's reality. So,
yeah, I think.
But it's okay. No, we can go into the lore and story so much. Please continue.
No, I was just gonna say I love Superman. Like I never, my friend Sean, I've known him since we were 9 years old. He's always loved Superman. That's always been like his guy. And just because watching those movies with his mom, and like he talks about the scene where Superman flies by the camera at the end of the movie and like turns and smiles, like it's like he was there. He was looking at you. And like I remembered seeing bits and pieces of the Chris Reeves movies as a kid, but never the whole thing. So like I didn't have that attachment. Superman. But I really like. It depends on who's writing him, and I'm not going to get into nitpicky about people I like and don't like, but when I feel like when they just focus on like all his powers, he's not interesting. But when you focus with him struggling to be that moral, just, good person, even if it's not something he agrees with, if it's the right thing to do, like I really enjoy when they show like his weakness, flaws are through the human side of him, and that's all learned behavior. That's not just it's not just about the power, and that's what makes Superman more interesting to me.
I think
it interests me from a Jewish perspective. I mean, of course, since the authors were Jewish and their parents were from Europe after the First World War and everything that happened there, and it's like, okay, so Superman is basically Moses. Yeah, like the people that are getting crushed, or the planet Krypton, and he's being sent away, just like Moses did, picked up by being this savior with superpowers. So it's like, I mean, his name Kal-El, Jewish for the voice of God. So it's like they incorporated this in all of it, and it's like just interesting. No matter what you believe yourself, it's just interesting from a theological perspective, and stuff like that interests me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I think, and I know Jesse and I have had some talks about like your history with these characters kind of dictates your feelings today towards things. Like when I see a Marvel movie, because I don't know all the lore of Marvel, I didn't, that I didn't grow up with that as a kid. I see things in a Marvel movie that don't affect me or bother me as much as it does to people that are like super into Marvel. But when I watch the Superman movie and I see like him kill Zod, I lost my shit because I'm like, Superman does not kill people. Like that doesn't happen. Like, so I think your experience with these characters and how much they're ingrained into, what it really affects your viewing experience when you're watching these kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not changing the subject. Just want a quick shout out to some of the new folks that have joined in. Joe's out here now. Joe Gonsalves, Simone. I know I get this wrong every time, and you correct me. I apologize. I just saw some other names. Greg, formerly the Brute Scales, out here. David Williams. So just hi. I think David Williams hung out with us on our show I was on last night, where we were doing our kind of Legions class, and surprised he hung out with us for the whole 3 hours last night.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got notification of that right before this show, so I need to go back and watch that.
So Superman, it was interesting. Yeah, comics are great. That was a huge thing for me that got me into storytelling and stuff as a kid. I'd go over to Sean's house, or he'd come over to my house, and we'd make up our own comic universe. We were drawing our own characters, and we got not tainted by, but influenced by, the Image guys, because we were into comics right before those guys went and started Image. So we all liked the art, so we were kind of following that stuff. But yeah, it was really fun doing that, and I wasn't really into the fantasy sword and sorcery stuff. Like I like Robin Hood and like the Hobbit cartoon, but soon after that, I went full into the fantasy world with the Black Cauldron book and all that stuff, and it's just fun how all those different things can influence our hobbies and get us to similar places.
Exactly.
Yeah, I loved sword and sorcery growing up. Like it. Well, and the big thing is a lot of my stuff, I would end up listening to music and watching movies with my mom, and that was her. Like she liked AC/DC and she liked Aerosmith, and that's where a lot of my musical stuff came from. And she liked sword and sorcery. She would watch the Conan movies and Beastmaster, and I would sit there and watch it with her. So, a lot of that was tied to my experiences with my mother growing up. So, what about you, Emil? Were you big into sword and sorcery? I know you're a He-Man guy, but
I mean,
movies.
I guess the one comic that I read the most when I was young was The Phantom.
Okay.
In Sweden, he has always been. Somehow that comic has survived everything. So it's like when you can't find Marvel or anything, you have The Phantom. So my parents, they read The Phantom.
Okay.
So that's. As soon as I started reading comics, we had so many of that issue. So I just read everything, and then in that, of course, you have Mandrake and Luthor. Who later become part of Defenders of the Earth, but it's like so there you have kind of magic at least, but it's in the Phantom there was some comic, I don't remember what it was called, but that was fantasy and well drawn art, good stories. So I guess
I've never read a Phantom. Could you give us a little description of what that character is, or what the?
Oh yeah, it's a human character. Like 400 years ago, his ship got destroyed, and he ends up in this. In Africa, So he puts on a mask, decides to avenge the ones who killed his friends.
Oh, cool.
And this somehow the people around there talked about this person with a mask, like, oh, it's like he's supposed to be dead. I know that guy. He died on that boat, and now he's alive because he survived. But somehow this legend turns about, they talk about this phantom walking the jungles of Africa, who's
nice.
fighting the bad guys. And then when his son grows up, he looks exactly like him. So so he kind of like inherits the part of the phantom. So he grows up in Africa among this tribe of the pygmy warriors. And so the story continues. So they say that the phantom has lived for 400 years.
Gotcha.
And somehow it when it was turned into colors, the illusion kind of disappeared, because black and white, it always looked cool and believable. And then suddenly here's like, he's blue. It's somehow, it's just, I know the covers he was blue, and I know in the US he was purple, but in Sweden he has always been blue. So it's like my interest kind of like passed away from there, but that's what I read the most. So back to Sword and Sorcerers. Yes, I always loved that. That's a long answer. Sorry for not sticking to what you're asking me.
That's cool.
No, it's a great answer. I'm going to throw this up because I was going to recommend this. Once in Future, the comic is really good. Beautiful artwork from Dan Mora and is it Cullen Bunn, I think, is writing, or Grant Morris. I don't remember who's writing it. Awesome
Writing
book. It's kind of if all the lore for like King Arthur, because it's the Once in Future king. Like, what if he comes back, but what if he's not the hero the tales have told us to be? What if he's like every other despotic leader?
Ooh.
So it's about this like young research guy, finding that this world of fantasy stuff is coming to life into his real world in London and everything. And it's great. It's funny. It's action packed. There's some really good inspiration for customs, I think, in that book.
That's cool.
Cool. Gonna read that. Oh, sorry. Now I see Joe's comment here.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Curtis.
I have not seen that trailer, but I actually saw a photo of Minsk in that. I mean, oh yeah, looking forward to that game now. And I never take the time to play games, but I might end up playing that. Okay, sorry. Thank you for. I'm gonna look at that trailer later.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Well, we can throw that out real quick, since games, we don't have to spend a lot of time because there's not a lot to talk about. And I know it's kind of a sore spot for Curtis with waiting for information. But the tactics game, I know Curtis is waiting for the figures. I think we all are. But are you going to play the game, Emil?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm interested in the story. So
yeah.
I mean, I have no idea how this game will turn out, but tactics games are. I mean, I love that. My all-time favorite game is Final Fantasy Tactics. Okay. That's my all-time favorite game. The one that I played the most. Well, unless you consider Minesweeper to be one of the games, because I probably played Minesweeper more, actually. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I was addicted to that once.
Very cool.
I think the character creation is going to be the thing that I'm going to mess around the most with. I mean, I do want to hear what the story is, but I'm not super excited for just the gameplay action, I guess, itself. But that character creation, I think, is going to be pretty awesome. I mean, just some of the things that they've shown on that, like to be able to throw all these different parts together in color, and then I think it's going to be a good tool for customizers to use as they go to create characters. I know, like Emil, you've shown when you're doing your customs, like that you'll kind of put the parts together and look at it, and then sometimes you'll add color to it in the photo to see what it would look like. Yeah. I think it'll be very similar to that style of customizing. I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. I think you're right. I am looking for. I'm curious to see how they will make the 2.0 and 1.0 parts, because that doesn't make sense as a customizer. But in the game, I'm looking forward to see how will they solve that.
Mm-hmm. As far as mixing them together.
Yeah, and it's something. Maybe I have some kind of OCD or something, or what you call it. But it's, to me, it's like those are 1.0 parts and those are 2.0 parts. They can't be mixed. And I'm like, don't tell this to anyone because it's your own frustration. You are the crazy one here. So I haven't told that to anyone. But I hope that will look really cool when you start playing around with it. It's just my fear,
Okay.
or my disturbedness. Or please, you were gonna show something. Please move on to that.
I totally forgot. I know we're backtracking a little bit to Once and Future, but I have the hardcover.
Oh my
slipcase.
That's
there are
a lot to read.
Let me see. Can I go? What does it called? Embiggen?
Embiggen. Yeah, you got to embiggen yourself.
Yeah, Karen Gillan, Dan Mora, Tamara Bonvillain on the colors. It's a great book. I'm going to show you just a page.
Wow.
That's okay. Is the story good as well? So it's not just.
Oh yes.
Oh
yes.
yeah. Okay.
It's fantastic.
That picture just looked like one of those tuberculi from the new wave.
Yeah, or something coming out of
cool.
Necronominus's whatever. Yeah, this is it's not over yet. This is volume 1. There's a second one that's going to come to finish. It's almost over, but it is a self-contained story. It's almost done.
I've written that to the list, so I better look that up. I'm gonna show you something right away.
And we got Trevor just joined too. Oh, hey Trevor.
Yep. Let's get whoop, no, where we go. There we go.
This, I'm not sure if anyone has seen this, but I stumbled upon these two. There are 2 volumes. Steve Lichman.
Oh.
Okay. It's about this character who is a Lich King. Called Steve. So his name is Steve Lichman, I guess.
Okay, I gotta get this.
There are 2 parts. It's drawn by one of my you have all seen art that he has done. He never, I mean, he's famous for the art that he does, super detailed paintings like skeleton or turtles and everything. I mean, the thing with this is that it starts with a D&D party coming down a cave. You know, like, yeah, you can see like, yes, now we're gonna loot this, kill that goblin, and it's like, but it's not about them. It's about the creatures in the dungeons. So he's the king of the dungeon. He's like ruling, okay, now there's another party coming down here, so we'll have to. And they're like, we don't want to fight. And so he's got this goblin or creature or coming up like a kobold warrior or something. I can't remember. He's like, I got this ring now, and I think I'm gonna propose to my dear fine. And it's like, yeah, good for you, do that. And then the D&D party comes down and kills him. Like, yes, we got this loot. It's a ring of this goblin. He's like, did you just kill? And it's like, so one of his friends is a beholder or eye, and it's like, it's hilarious. I love it. It's crazy.
Steve Lichman. All right, yeah, I got to check into that one.
Sorry, that is fantasy though, so you can see all the fantasy stuff, and it's like the vampire who gets so sad after a while and he starts to eat because nobody likes him, and nobody does because he's only talking about himself. It's like, yes, what do you think about me? And it's like, and they're like,
it's a Stephen Bisciotti vampire. Is that what you said?
It is. No.
It's like the flip of Tucker and Dale versus Evil, where it's the 2 rednecks in the cabin in the woods, but it's really the college kids that are the bad guys in that movie. And I like when that is successfully flipped and done in a good way.
His friend is a redneck.
Okay.
One of the characters, you can totally see that that's what they're going for. Is like, I think if you Google the name of the author, or I mean the artist, I should know this, or I mean by heart, because this is the best.
I'm leaving here with like a whole list of stuff that I need to read.
Why? I should
do a quick shout out to Oz. Thanks for stopping by.
Dave Raposa.
Danny.
Dave Raposa. If you Google his name, and it's like, he does the best paintings of. I mean, if you love Turtles, He-Man, or whatever, and he has done something, then you know of his art. And so
Okay.
this is something that he kickstarted together with a friend of him, David Warren, Daniel Warren. And it's like,
I'm gonna have to
okay,
check that
let's
out.
move on.
Excellent.
Like I said,
I'll
I
throw
should
one more.
keep that. We should keep that for the comic.
Yes. We can continue this conversation for sure. Comics. That's
So should we get to Four Horsemen stuff since we've advertised this on the Cabal and we have a
I
lot
mean,
of folks here.
I'm
I
just a
don't
guest.
know.
I'm just a guest. I'm just a guest. You're the host now.
Let's talk Four Horsemen.
Okay. So
Yeah,
how
something
about
in
we
mind,
start
Chris?
with this figure obscura that just came out? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, I like it, but I don't have it in hand yet.
Yeah, I was just telling these guys beforehand, like I got it in. Initially, the photos are great. Trevor did a great job with the photos. The artwork from Nate is awesome, but it wasn't the character that I was looking forward to the most, I guess. Just, I don't know, for some reason. So I got it in and it sat on my coffee table for 3 days and I didn't open it. And then last night I opened it and oh my gosh, like I know we've said this about a lot of different characters. A lot of people have that, it's much better in hand. Like the soft goods on this thing are so good. Like it is amazing. Like I'm sitting there just staring at this thing last night. Like I need to order a couple more of these, but I have no idea what I'll do with them. Like I don't know. I don't know what I could make out of it or anything, but it's just so good. It's like, how can I just have one? So I don't know. Jesse,
How many did you get?
What's that?
How many did you get?
So far, I've just got one, but I've got several in my cart that I'm like waiting to pull the trigger on. And I'm waiting for that one little bit of inspiration. I'm seeing people do customs and stuff. And it's like, yeah, but I really don't want, 5 Santas in my display case. So I don't know. We'll see.
I had a very kind person reach out and give me a gift card, so I was able to get it when it went live last week. So they knew who they are, and they asked to remain anonymous. So thank you again. But yeah, it's a beautiful figure. I'm with you, Curtis. Soft goods have never been a thing I've particularly liked. Now I've loved the capes and things that have come with the Mythic Legions, and maybe I am, like they say on the My Wife Is Gonna Kill Me show, what they call themselves about for Four Horsemen. Maybe I'm one of those.
Yeah.
But not that they can't do no wrong, but I have not encountered anything that I really don't like from them. And the soft goods that they get from C. Jessam team are amazing. That the detail, like the embroidery or the decal, I don't know what the proper term is, on the hem of the robe, and like the fur lining and the way the cowl and the hood are separate pieces. It's just absolutely fantastic. I've never been a huge, like, I love Christmas, but I've never been a huge like Santa guy. That was never like part of my childhood growing up. And the so the Santa's, like, I have like 2 pops for Santa just because I have a pop village, Christmas village that I put out. So like, this is such a weird figure to get, but it's absolutely great. And I love that kind of old world Father Christmas style version concept of Santa more than the Coca-Cola Santa, so yeah, it's right up my alley.
Joe says great figure to gift people, get them into 4-H products. I agree 100%. To go back to what you were saying, Jesse, about the soft goods, like I've been very vocal to Trevor and several other folks that collect Mezco that, those are dolls because they're clothed head to toe. And while I liked, typically I like soft goods in terms of a cape, a fur piece around the neck, a loincloth or something. But when it's completely covered head to toe, like I'm just not been a fan. But man, this is starting to change my mind because this thing, like, it's absolutely amazing. And it limits a lot of the things I think you can do from a customizing perspective when you've got first of all, it's a noticeable soft good. It's not like it's, something that could be used for a variety of different things, but man, it's just such good quality. So I don't know. I'm starting to kind of change my mind on the soft good thing. What about you, Emil? What are your thoughts on soft goods?
Yeah, well, I love capes and furs and the loin pieces. I'm still, um, well, I need to get the robes in hand before I make an honest opinion on them.
Gotcha.
But capes, the loin pieces and furs, I like to add that to everything.
Yeah.
That's how much I like it.
Yeah. I mean, even, I know there was some some ribbing on, the people that were complaining when the Green Knight came out on the All Stars Plus, and some people were saying they wanted the plastic loin tabard piece rather than the soft good one. But I was kind of thinking the same thing. It's like I wasn't going to complain about it. Like if you're just going to give me a soft good tabard loin, I'm okay with that. But having the plastic one allows me to paint it a different color and do things that maybe I can't do with a soft good. But man, like I said, it's starting to change my mind because you see Jessamine in the studio are just doing such a good job with this stuff that it's like, and even just the 2.0 figure, I was like, really, you're going to do this as a 2.0? But then you cover it with the soft goods, and it's like, yeah, it works. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very taken in by this character for sure. If somebody, last I checked, there was like 700 or something out there today. If there's somebody that hasn't gotten one yet, go get yourself one. You're not going to regret it for sure.
Absolutely. Like it especially like you were saying, it's a great figure for people who aren't into collecting the Mythic Legions. Like there's so many, I know that's a figure, all the figure obscura stuff have been items that have brought more people in to buying their stuff. And then, if that's all they want is the figure obscura stuff, like that's a great subline where you're not chasing stuff down like all the time. And I think it's a nice offering for people who want to have a little variety. And yeah, it's really cool what to do. And I like that we've got the second colorway with the red Krampus. Still, maybe we'll see a dark fur or a dark green robe on Santa or Father Christmas rather. But yeah, the robes, the soft goods on these, they do such a good job because soft goods are weird because we know what clothes look like on our human-sized bodies, right? You know how stuff folds and stitching and all that stuff, even if you don't know tailoring or whatever. But to see how fine detailed they pick the right materials that lay just right enough for that size, and with the the wiring, and like I said, they just really make it feel like not, oh, this is soft, this is a sock someone put on a toy. It's really nice.
Trevor says, welcome to collecting dolls, Curtis. Yeah, well, I guess welcome. Welcome me. Yeah, it's really good. And you're right, it doesn't fit the same on a action figure that it does on us. So in order to make that look right with that robe, to have that wool look to it and stuff, I think they had to make it a 2.0 to make it really look correct in my opinion. But I love it. And the other thing that I really enjoyed about this was that the slip cover that goes around the box that you open it up and it's like an instant dio for the figure. That's awesome as well. I think they did a great job with that.
Did you guys see Brian Almeida's dio that he did yesterday I think in the Cabal?
I didn't see it live, but I saw that he was selling something for like $150 afterwards with the thing.
He made like a stone thing, but he's got cutouts, so you can take that, either the Father Christmas or the Krampus one, and you can slide. It's got like a slot in the back, so you can slide it in, either straight on or either angle. If you want to.
Cool. That's a smart idea.
Cool. Yeah. So if anybody wants, and it doesn't take away from Nate's art. You still see that, but like it gives ground. So instead of just being a desktop or a tabletop, it's like ruined stone, almost like a mountain or a pavement or something. It's really cool looking.
Really smart. Yeah.
I hope they do more of that kind of stuff. I know they were talking about with the Cosmic Wave that some of that is going to have some Dio-esque type of packaging. I think that's really cool stuff because then it's not just a box that you're opening up and throwing away, but it's actually something usable. So
Yeah.
That scares me because I try to throw away the boxes,
yeah,
and every box that I throw away makes me like, yeah, I did it. But then it's like in the next one, it's like, is this the only one I have of this? And it's like, Emil, throw it away, and it's like, I will.
eventually. The only thing that I've kept in boxes so far are the Legions Con exclusives and the figure Obscura. Everything else I typically toss.
I actually, my first that I kept in box was the 2-pack from the Aether Wave. When I got that, it's like, I never collect in box. And when I saw this, was like, I can't open this. That's so I guess I'll have the 2-packs in boxes.
Nice.
Yeah, and I don't on the figure Obscura, I don't keep them in the box, but I do keep the box. If that makes sense. Like I take the figure out, but I keep the box to see the artwork and see it. I don't know. I just think it's cool. So.
I played with a figure for the Headless Horseman when I was in the US at Steven's place, but I haven't opened it when I got home, my version. But because that's like, I have more figures to open. It's like, I need to redo these small shelves. I don't have many shelves here, but I need to reorganize them to make something fit. Yeah, so it's funnier to buy and to open and than to make space when there is no space.
Yeah,
because then you realize I have to sell some more of these figures. I know it, and I will.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of soft goods, let's roll right into other Four Horsemen stuff into the Apoxis wave, because there's a lot of soft goods on those figures, and I know we can get into some of the Necronominus stuff too. Obviously, we don't have them in hand yet. We've only seen the prototype samples. What are you guys' thoughts on those?
Oh, I love them. Poxus himself is the one of the figures that I've ordered the most of, I think.
Yeah, I still haven't placed my order yet because every time I go in
there,
I
didn't we say Poxus? No, Necronominus. Are we
Necronominus?
Oh, sorry. Okay. I was thinking about Poxus somehow. I don't know why.
Well, that's what I meant. That the wizards in that wave.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Necronominus. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I know there's more soft goods in the Necronominus, but Poxus is where they really went all out on soft goods. Yeah. And I know we don't have any of them yet, but
I'm curious to see the wizards. I'm mostly looking forward to Poxus himself.
I'm looking forward to the brute scale orc. Is it Tharnog? Mm-hmm. I ordered like 6 of him, and like I'm just ready to make some brute scale orcs. So I'm ready to get strip all that fur off of him and see what it looks like underneath, and just make some big mean orcs.
Some World of Warcraft scale orcs.
Oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I love. Don't get me wrong. I love the 1.0 build, but like I'm with you. I only have one on order, but yeah, I'm gonna have to try to figure out to get a couple other Tharnogs to make some of those bulky boys.
Yeah, I have special plans for one of the brute scale figures.
Nice.
Oh, now
nice. I like hearing that.
Yeah, I think it's only one. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I really look forward to that. When do you guys think that we'll get it? 6 months from now?
Well, last I heard on Jeremy's show Wednesday when he talked to Nate hasn't even started the artwork for the boxes. So if that's the case, I think it's going to be, middle of next year before we probably get those.
Yeah. So no rush then with the customs that are on the desk now.
Yeah. Keep working on what you're working on. That's fine.
Oh, Eric made a guess as to what my thought was.
Yeah.
Don't confirm or deny. Just smile and nod.
Nothing. His camera froze.
Greg, we're talking about the Poxus wave. Sir Uxak is not in the Poxus wave, but I'm pretty sure we're all going to buy 8,000 Sir Uxaks.
I want to
share them with everyone on Earth.
That is one of the coolest figures ever in this line. Actually, I can say that about multiple figures from this recent wave.
Yeah.
I think the first pre-order that I did was in the Aether wave, I didn't pre-order that much then because it's like I was just tipping my toes in the Mythic Legions realm then. Didn't know how much I should have gotten, or anyway, what you should have got. You need the money as well, right? You can't just say what you want to get. But ever since that, I've been looking forward to the Necronominus versus Aether wave, the Aetheron. So
Yeah,
I didn't disappoint. This is the absolute coolest wave so far.
Yeah.
So far.
I know, all three of us customize, and so for me, I look at, what new parts are we getting? Like, what are the new little things? And like Aether offered some. I didn't feel like it was, didn't blow anything out of the water in terms of new parts, in my opinion. I mean, you obviously you got the new torso for Magnus and stuff, and the parts on Vorthog were cool, but
the other one.
And then, but Alithia, like, I mean, some of the characters in Alithia, like, there's, all new torsos and the removable chest and skirt pieces and new hands and feet. And then Poxus was okay. I mean, we got some brute scale, we got some, the soft goods and stuff. But then we got to this one that we just saw at Legions Con, and it was like they just threw the tooling budget out the window and said, we're just going to create all new everything. And so I'm super excited about this one.
So that's the thing I like about the Poxus characters is, like, other than maybe Arakagor and Tharnog, no one in that is really, well, and Poxus himself, but like the other characters, they're not very army builder type.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is it Samir Scrollwarder, the more wizard, like the armored looking wizard that's got like the newer Ilithia
I believe you're
stuff?
right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so they're 2.0 figures underneath those robes, but like there's a lot of figures that you could throw different parts of those robes on to,
An army of wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, it looks like we got 2 questions here. Do you think Uxak will have the chest plates? I personally hope so. I don't know.
With it being ogre scale, I don't know. I mean,
I think it will. I think it will, because then it will be easier to make the dark evil ogre scale knight later on.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I can only hope, right? It's like,
well, and his that chest plate. Like, sorry, Greg, I'm only going to order one of him unless I find out that I'm going to order one. Maybe I'll pick up more later because I'm so close to shows I can do that. But if the chest plate doesn't come off, like, that's such a unique thing. I feel like certain characters, I'm like, I don't want to use that on another custom.
Yeah, you might be right. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, for the longest time, all we had was for ogre scale was just the bare chest. So now if they're going to expand into something else, you would think they would try to make it to where they'd be able to use quite a few.
Yes.
You wouldn't want to use it just once, for sure.
Yeah. And then Maverick had a question for you, Emil, about your Snake Eyes progress. He thinks new German helmet from Father Christmas would be a good use on it.
It would be, but I finished the last thing for the helmet yesterday. I had a good time. A friend called and just like, the family is out. Do you want to do some customs? And I'm like, yep. So I went right there. He doesn't customize toys, but it's like miniature games. So we just had that, and then I finished the Snake Eyes head. So now I only have a few. I'm not, like I said, I'm not rushing it, but it's everything is there. I just need to paint. I mean, few things. I'm lazy, maybe, or maybe it's because there's so many different customs on my table here, and some of the guesses in this this thread, it's like it makes me want to reply to, but I'm not gonna.
Well, I made you work on a lot of sculpting this week, so I'll take the blame for this week.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Yeah. Do you? I don't know if you don't have the pictures to pull up, do you, Jesse?
I did not prepare slides. I'm sorry.
So
I'm horrible.
Basically, we had a little, live stream that we did last Saturday with me and Emil and Steven, and we had, folks in the chat there in the Wolf Den and in Emil's YouTube, And it was an awesome experience. Like, basically, we were creating a character for the God's Fire series.
I have an idea.
Yeah. What is your idea?
If for a second, just share my screen.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Yep. Beautiful. So this is the character we ended up naming him the General. And it was such a cool experience because all the people in chat were just throwing out these different ideas. And some of the ideas were for the bio. Some of them were for the sculpt. And Emil and Steven are such professionals that they were able to, kind of choose through those ideas on the things that they really liked and wanted to incorporate. And Emil is sculpting on the fly and adding these details in. Steven's adding it to the bio, and it just came out with this really fleshed out character that I absolutely love. So, I don't know. That was my take on it, Emil. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was so much fun to be able to do it together, because that's like what we're doing now. We're hanging out and just enjoying life with friends and our hobby. And that live is like we're playing together. So everyone who is taking part of that live, it's like we're doing this together. I did the actual sculpting, but we did it together. And I really enjoy that process, having fun.
Yeah, it was really cool. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I mean, many of these things I wouldn't have done if I would have sit down and sculpted myself. It wouldn't have been like that. And I enjoy that. It's like when Steven throws me a sketch or an idea. It's like, oh, should I really? Okay, let's try that. And it's fun to try new things.
Yeah.
So
we hope to do more of that. I know the first one we did was just we called it a chit chat session, and that ended up being what we named our character, was chit chat afterwards. And it was really just Emil sculpting and kind of fielding questions and stuff from chat. But this one was really more of a collaborative, with the story, with the character. And I hope we end up doing more of that. But I see Maverick's got a question here. Any new details on the God's Fire contest? So I know, Emil, you kind of mentioned something on the live stream about doing a contest. You want to talk a little bit about that and what our plans are for that?
yeah, and first of all, Jesse was showing off. Was that chit chat?
Oh, yep. There it is. You want to embiggen yourself?
Yeah.
And that
nice.
That is, that is fun. The sad thing is, I don't have it in hand myself.
You don't have a chit chat head yet?
No, I'm gonna order a few parts later this week from a friend, the one that prints for me in Sweden.
Yeah.
So I'll send in the file for chit chat so I can get one of those, because I want to try and paint it.
It's so fun. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just turned him. I think I'm gonna have him. He's gonna be like a dwarf ranger for me, and I have a garden snail from Walmart that I'm gonna paint up. That is his mount, kind of like the racing snail from Neverending Story.
Oh, that's cool.
That would be a fun one. Yeah. So Maverick, the contest. We will throw that up. I'm not saying a date yet, because we just need to. There's just another thing I have to do first. But the idea is to this character that we created together was for the group called the Pure. Pretty evil. I mean, they don't see themselves as evil. I would call them the evil ones, So this group of characters, now we've created two ones. It's the Unyielding, who is the leader of this group, and then the general that we did together now. So we will basically say, come with a suggestion, a short bio. You don't have to make a long bio. You can do whatever. Just make some notes about what the story is for a character in the Pure, in the group of the Pure. Describe his how he looks. You can make a sketch, or you can just write it with words describing how he is. And so everyone can send in, the ones who want can send in this. And basically, I think it will be me and Steven. Maybe we'll throw in Curtis there, or me and Steven will start with it at least. Look through them and see which one do we think would we want to do as part of the God's Fire story to start off with. Probably, I mean, if more will be sent. I mean, will be submitted. You know, there are probably a lot of cool ones, but it's like we'll start with doing one, and the winner will of course get that head sculpt, and it will be a part of the God's Fire storyline. That's the idea.
So, obviously at the end of the day, Emil will have to sculpt this thing so that, there may be a few changes on the sculpt, just depending. And then same thing with the story, like, depending on what the story is that you submit, they're probably going to adopt some portions of that, but then have to change some others. One of the things that I noticed from this past live stream, and then even just in the work that I've done with Stephen and Emil, is that it's real important for them that with these characters, they integrate them to the rest of the storyline and the other characters that are in there. So you've got to figure out, how do these characters relate to one another? How do they interact with these different factions in the God's Fire series and the different characters? So, but I think it's a really neat idea. Somebody will be able to have a character that they create, see it come to life. So,
yeah, basically we're asking more people to play with us.
Yeah,
and we do it as a fun thing, And if I will be whatever character I will be sculpting, I will probably have a couple of questions to the one, just to complete, so I know where like if you win, Jesse, then you have made a description, then I will get back to you with just complimentary questions, stuff like that. We'll work it out together. That's the basic idea, and it's just to keep having fun,
I look forward to doing that with you.
Awesome.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, Maverick says, can we send object ideas like swords and stuff? You can send whatever you want. So, we'll get the details out later. Like Emil said, we got some things to finalize on it, but some people are probably going to submit drawings. Some are just going to submit descriptions of it. Some are going to do a full detailed bio. Some may just have kind of an outline. Whatever you want to submit, all of
if
that.
If anyone will submit something, no one is forced to submit anything. So it's if you want
people
to,
are going to submit. They're going to send stuff. I promise you.
Yeah, this is homework. You need to submit. Everybody needs to submit something.
Maverick's going to make 5 fake accounts and send you 6 different options.
Emil and Steven are out of ideas. They've got nothing. If you don't put anything in, God's Fire is done. Okay.
I was so inspired after having read the bio that Steven wrote that I started sculpting orcs this morning.
Ooh, that's a
little I instantly did that. And it's like,
there's a little sneak peek behind the curtain for everybody. So,
yeah.
Now, I don't know about anybody else.
I started the orcs is what I did when I started with Wolf King. The first thing was the big ogre, but then I had a few orcs. And it's like,
sorry.
I'm not sure who that is. Is that reviewer guy? The toy view? Yeah, I think that's that reviewer guy.
Silly. People will get annoyed with that character.
No,
I'm sorry, Danny, but nobody will appreciate that one.
I guarantee you that head will sell. If you can find Toyview and get their permission to make their likeness, I promise you that head will sell.
What I want more than that is an Emil, Azar, and Zazar first. That's what I want. with the cones. That's what I want.
The cones are the only thing that I kept from all the props. The cones.
Walter's in here. Hey, Walter.
Hey, Walter.
Nice. Well, hi there. Yeah. So
cool stuff going on at Wolf King.
Yeah, but the thing is, I started with a orc sculpting, but then I went back to this illustration that I'm working on in Photoshop, and it's just, I'm trying not to rush it. I'm trying to learn and try new things, and when you have the time, it's really relaxing, but it takes a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And it's like that is what I was looking forward to the most when I was at Legions Con, to come home. And I talked to Nate about this, Nate Barch, about I want to go home and do an illustration that I'm allowed to take my time on. I'm not gonna rush it, like take a lot of time, because it's so that's what I'm doing. And then I'll today I had an hour or two perhaps, and then it's like, okay, I hope to get some more time this week, but we'll see. But it's like, yeah, it's I showed at the start of the process Belualith. I ended up with her, and so she's having a horde of Terpukula or whatever. I don't remember.
Tuberculosis.
Yeah, and different skeletal creatures around. It's like, this is not smart to do. This will take time. This is not like having a character in the focus, and so I might be regretting that, but it's still, now I'm gonna finish it. So it's
so since we're talking about,
go ahead.
Was that just something on your own, or did it just, because I know Sean and Dusty started the Cabal Creations. So were you drawing that for that, or was that just something you were doing ahead of time, like in your mind, and you're just that's an avenue you're
this Cabal Creations is a great way to I really enjoy it. I like when I saw Sean post that, because this is great to inspire others to just share the art that you're doing. The one that I did was not, because I started playing with the ideas at Legions Con.
Okay.
But then I was thinking about making one of the knights, but I ended up doing the opposite instead with Bill Willith. And then I get the chance to color one of David Williams' amazing artworks. He was kind to let me do that. It was really like, oh, this was so much joy. That was so enjoyable. And then I thought he sent me some more, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna color these as well. This is amazing. And then it's like, Emil, didn't you promise yourself to do an illustration when you were at Legions Con? And I'm like, yeah. Should you perhaps start that? You can always come back and color this later. And it's like, yeah. So that's when I'll I'll start that process.
So, I can't wait to see what you come up with for your Belualith.
So since we're talking about all the things that Emil's working on, we're not keeping him busy enough. He's got his own customs, and he's sculpting and doing live streams and doing illustrations. One of the things I picked up on your interview you did on Legion's Lair was you said a little something about an animation, a Mythic Legion animation thing.
Yeah.
What's that looking like right now?
So I did this silly short video for 4 Horsemen-ish o'clock-ish, their 1 year anniversary. So I did this animated video, and it's like, yeah, that's right. Tuberculosis. So I mean, some people asked me. I mean, it's not like that's something that has 1 million views or something, It's like, but the idea was, someone asked me, wouldn't there be more episodes coming? And then I thought maybe I could do that. So I asked Chris about it, if I could be allowed to do some more just for the fun of it. So he and Jeremy, they checked with the studio and said, like, I mean, because it's not an official studio, it's a fan-made thing, but I want to make sure that I'm not stepping on someone's toes, and I would hate that, like being a fan of everything that 4 Horsemen do, and then it's like, well, you overstepped your boundaries, sir. You're no longer welcome in this community. Thanks for your visit. I hope you enjoyed the figures. Your pre-orders have been canceled. Stuff like that. But when they got back and said some of the things that I should think about, and then it's like, yeah, sure, do it, and make sure that you just clear everything. Yeah, I have. So I do. And but also that's one thing that I started off writing the script for as well. So it's basically a 7-episode show, but really short episodes, like where they're like 90 seconds episodes, Yeah. But so the idea is for 7 episodes that and I figure that I've actually come up with most of the ideas for that on my way to work. So I've been trying these different voices and characters, and then when I arrived at work, I wrote down the sentences that I come up with, and I decided not to rush this because I could, but this is not something that I get paid. It's not a job thing, and I realized this could also be something that stresses you out. And I'm not sure about you guys, but you can be stressed sometimes, and then nothing gets funny. So I just and nothing gets fun. But I'm working on that. Yes, and I just realized that one day when I was going to work, I was like, talking to myself like, so what are you gonna and then I just in the corner of my eye I saw a father and his son walking, and I'm like, I just ignored it, walked silently to the school where I work. So most of the kids and people, they kind of know that that's the guy who's working there. So it's like, I'm trying to.
Well, one of the difficult things for me when I'm a big He-Man fan like you, and when they announced that they were doing a new series, it was the Revelations. From the time they announced it till the time it dropped was like a 2-year period. That was very difficult to wait that long. But then I also know that you did the first animation for 4 Horsemen-ish o'clock in one day.
Yeah, 24 hours.
so from now until the time that we see this new animation, do you think it's more of like the 2-year time frame, or is it more like we'll have it tomorrow?
My initial thought was like, yeah, let's just do everything. Let's do this now, figure everything out and have it done before Christmas. That was my first thought.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized that, you mentioned a few of the projects that I'm doing, and then it's like I realized, and then I have all these 4 Marvel customs on my table, not finished, and these other customs that I'm not finished, and it's like, what am I doing now? Should I really rush this? When maybe and then you put so much time and work into it, and then it's got 20 views on YouTube, and it's like, did I make all that stress? Did I stress all that for nothing? For people not to appreciate it. So then it's like, I'll take a little bit of a break here, but most of the script is written.
Okay.
And there are
20 views on YouTube. Is that only in like the first 30 seconds that you've posted it?
No, come on, no. It's but I do have a friend of mine at work who's also a musician, and so we talked about the basic of the intro theme music is done.
That's cool.
I love the intro music written for it. That's like something I've listened to it so many times, and then he came back to me. That's not the finished version, That's just something that I did just to try something out, and I'm like, I love it. I love it.
So when this drops, like, is it going to be on your YouTube? Is it going to be on the 4 Horsemen channel? Do you know where it's going to be?
It's a fan thing, so it's probably just gonna. I'm gonna put it on my YouTube. That's the idea.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And any ETA or any guesses on when we might see the first one of these drop?
Well, my idea is to finish all of them. All the recordings of it.
Gotcha.
Probably not all the animations, but finish all the recorded voices, and that would go pretty quick once I've written things down. But when you try to do 7 episodes that has, they're supposed to be tied to each other,
mm-hmm.
Then it's like, well, the first episode I could record tonight, but what if I come up something in the 6th episode that I want to change because I've been doing that?
Yeah, makes sense.
So I don't know. Easily it could be done in a week if I sit down and. No, it could not be done easily in 1 week. I changed my mind there, but it's like, if I dropped everything else and rushed it, but I don't know who I'm doing this because I like to do this, and I know at least some people like to see. But this is not a blockbuster thing, you know. so I don't
don't know
know
if you
when,
guys.
because I've not set a deadline. I could set a deadline and have it finished, but it's like, well, since this is not my job, I've not set a deadline. Thank you, Walter. 300 to 1,000 views. That would be nice.
Yeah. Walter said he'll link it in the Cabal whenever you're ready and get a lot of views real quick. Did you said you look like you were starting to say something, Jesse?
It froze up over here, so I was just trying. Everybody's screen went black and started doing the little spiral thing. So I was just trying to. Yeah. Nope. We're all good. Everything's fine now.
Okay. Danny asked a question. He said, Emil, have you considered collaborations with this Toy View guy? He's a real up and coming talent on the YouTubes.
You know, I've seen his show, and I've honestly got an idea with a collaboration with Toy View that might come up might be a, one thing very soon.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Actually, didn't you say your daughter knows him, right? Because I saw her, she appeared in one of his videos at the end, and you said something about like that she knows him.
Yeah, she does. She does.
Okay.
But she's very kind to people in general.
Gotcha. So at least you've got an in there that if you did want to work on a collaboration, you've got somebody that can hook you up.
Well, it is Christmas, so it might, some happy things might happen before Christmas.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
I'll throw this up here real quick. I'm not sure how to read the name, so I apologize. But coming from Serbia, so
nice.
Wow. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Serbia. Let's see. Would we say Medita? I wonder if I pronounced that right. Medita?
I have no idea. So
no, I'm asking if.
And we'll find out if they respond.
So Oz has a channel. He is recently into Legions and with the Headless Horseman, and he's getting some other stuff. He's the guy who's running the channel that we're doing like the Legions class on with Sean and Brick something and Eldor from Masterversal Toy Collector. So he's just saying if you ever want to do anything, he loves having his guests.
And I love to talk to nice people and have fun with this hobby. So I'm up for it.
Now I
cool.
was mentioning earlier, I saw that you guys did a video last night, Jesse, and it looked like it was about like races and factions within Mythic Legion. You want to talk a little bit about that in terms of what you guys went over for those that maybe missed it or to go watch it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, for those who are into Legions and in the know and have been collecting for a while, there's probably not a whole lot of new information there. It's more for Oz and Brick and people in there because they're coming out of a large Masters fan base, and Brick is a huge Lego collector, but they like a little bit of everything, like so many of us. They had Sean and I come on a couple weeks ago or about a month ago to just kind of we did like a breakdown on like the purchasing of.
Oh, yes. Sorry. So it'd say like Zadrova or Ciao. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's awesome. And we did kind of like a breakdown on for people because a lot of people coming into Mythic Legions and Four Horsemen stuff, like especially if you don't get in on the pre-order, seeing the stuff on Big Bad or even eBay, the prices are scary, especially if you're outside the US.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of went down through the pricing on stuff. Last night, we're trying to do it like a class. So we wanted to get in the lore, but there's so much to talk about, and we go on tangents and everything as geeks tend to do on stuff. But we were trying to get through, did a brief overview of like the creation myth and into the Dark Four and the Great Beasts and then into the factions, and we only got into humans as far as races, so we only got into one of the races, just kind of overviewing what each of the factions stood for, where they came from, that sort of thing. So it's going to be like a monthly thing for a while as we just kind of deep dive into the lore and the races and all of that in the world of Mythos and eventually Cosmeria.
Cool.
Awesome. That's good for new people to line for sure.
Yeah. So and Ostradamus does some great. He does like unboxing videos and stuff and all that good stuff. So yeah, Danny.
Wait, there's Laura. Yeah, don't tell Matthew Douche. All right, maybe we should send him the link to those Oz videos.
I think we should credit Dooch on get Jeremy to credit him on the book when that comes out.
That would be great. Yeah. Okay.
Or give him the dedication.
So Emil, because it sounds like you got a lot of extra time on your hands. You really don't have a whole lot going on. See anything good lately? Whether it's movies, shows, anything that you're watching?
Yeah, I've started watching Wednesday. I've only seen 2 episodes now, but it's like I like this.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a few episodes in. Have you started that, Jesse?
I have not started that one yet. No.
Yeah, it's
I want to. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job with that.
Jenny Ortega is an excellent Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we were talking before the show about the movie Trolls. Have you gotten a chance to see that, Emil?
I have 37 minutes left. I started watching it yesterday with my wife, but the time went, it became so late. So I haven't finished it. But it's like, of course, they almost speak Swedish. So I almost understand everything without the text.
Nice. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I mean, it's one of those.
Don't spoil the ending now, okay?
What's that? No, I'm not going to spoil it. I liked the way that they did the troll. I thought that was cool, and I don't know. I thought for what it is, it's pretty good. Yeah,
I was happy to see a movie that, I mean, as far as I've seen, it's not like one of those 10 points, but it's like one of these, like, yeah, this is good, everything doesn't have to be the, Shawshank's Redemption. Everything doesn't have to be,
right.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw a movie recently, but anyway, but Troll was like, this is good, and then you think like, this is a Norwegian movie with pretty good special effects, and it's like, yeah, so I appreciate it from that aspect as well.
Yeah.
Did you see Troll Hunters from, it was like 10, they're mentioning it in the comments. I saw that one like 10 years ago or so. I thought that one was pretty good too.
I think I started watching that with my one of my kids, and I enjoyed it. She didn't too much though, so we ended up. I mean, I didn't ended up watching it myself either.
I just love the look in Troll Hunters and Troll, that look. I love that European look of the trolls as opposed to like the more American look, which is why I love the heads on the Mythic Legions trolls, because they feel more, at least the one with the nose, feels a little more kind of old world.
Well, I prefer of all the trolls from Mythic Legions, I prefer the stone troll.
That's my favorite,
really?
but yeah.
Yeah, so without the big nose.
Yeah.
So the stone troll is absolutely my favorite.
Really?
I know it's probably heresy, but if and when I get my hands on the Brontis 2, he's getting the stone troll head.
I like the I guess it's the ice troll with the horns and the beard. I think that's my favorite head out of those. So.
Can I say a movie that I've seen recently that I love? The Pianist.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Pianist, and that's a movie that I've been wanting to see for years, but I'd never get around to see it, and I've just seen it, and it's great. It's a fantastic movie. It's hurtful to watch it, but it's great. About the Jewish pianist during the Second World War in the ghetto and his life.
Yeah. Yep. I haven't seen it before, but I'll have to. I heard you talking about it earlier this week, and I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I bet it's not for everyone. So it's not like most people like this Marvel movie or thing. But this is a movie that was just you have to be in the right mood you if you're wanting to see action movie or something, don't put on The Pianist. You know?
It's not an action movie. Huh? No explosions, gunfire.
Oh yeah, there are, of course, but it's but
Not
it's
the right
not like
kind. It's the wrong
yeah.
kind. Okay, gotcha. I actually last night I watched Krampus for the first time, based on listening to Jesse, and I
What'd you
actually
think?
enjoyed it quite a bit.
Is that a movie?
Yeah, they
Yep.
got a movie. What did I watch it
2015
on?
or
I
16?
think it was on Peacock. I saw it. It's on there for free, and yeah, it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So
It's kind of like your classic family Christmas movie, but instead
Yeah.
of just like Christmas Vacation where like the annoying relatives come and disrupt it's all of that, but then it's got kind of a Gremlins-esque horror vibe to it with Krampus coming because
yeah,
of the attitude. It's a great. It actually restored my love of Christmas.
yeah.
Oh.
For me, it kind of felt like Home Alone, but instead of waking up and your family's just gone, like you wished them away, it's like they all get murdered. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting.
So I saw Walter asking if I see American movies in English, in the English language, and yes, I always prefer to see the original language, unless it's animated movies. I mean, I've seen most Disney movies in Swedish, but it's like, I whatever country the movie is from, you watch it in that language, basically.
Well, there you go.
All right, so I'm gonna cut back to this comment real quick. So let me know if I said this right. Boschko. Am I reading that right?
Boschko, yeah.
Boschko.
Boschko.
Thank you for joining in. This is awesome.
Boschko.
Yeah, Clerks 3. I have not watched that yet. I didn't care for 2, but I've heard good things about 3.
Yeah.
And Walter said he watched Bullet Train last night. I watched that earlier this week. That was pretty fun too.
That was a good one. That's on my list to watch, so I haven't seen it yet though.
I'm not seeing it.
True Romance. That is a great movie.
Wait, the True Romance. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis.
No.
Nope, that's True Lies.
The True Lies.
Yeah.
True Romance is Christian Slater and right? What's her name?
Can't remember her name.
Patricia Arquette.
Yep, that's it. And it's got Brad Pitt in his best role ever.
Don't be condescending to me, man.
Yeah.
And Gary I just watched that recently. That's fun.
Gary Oldman, who you would not know that it's Gary Oldman in that movie. Like when I found out years later that was Gary Oldman, I was like, "You got to be kidding me!"
Yeah,
yeah.
What did I watch? I don't remember. I know the thing I'm enjoying the most right now is Willow, the Willow show on Disney Plus.
I haven't started that yet, but I've heard kind of mixed things. I've heard some people that loved the movie love the series, and I've heard some people that did not love the movie don't love the series. So
actually, my wife hadn't seen the movie. We started watching Willow, and she enjoyed it. And I'm like, let's see the movie anyway, I told her. So we'll see the movie first. So we watched the movie, and then we continue with this series. Like there's only 2 episodes so far, right?
3.
Okay, we've only seen 2. And what I can say, it's like the show it's pretty much the same as the movie. You know, when it comes to mood, when it comes to acting, when it comes to everything. So good or bad, it is the same, you know? But I must say that I was afraid that, many years ago, there was this Shannara's Druid, or the Shannara Chronicles, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I started watching it, but it felt very much like a teenage show. And it's like, I realized it wasn't my thing. So I was afraid that the Willow series would be the same way. But after 2 episodes, I really like the group of characters, and I realized, okay, I realized that that's gonna be that kind of character. That's gonna be that. Okay, this is. I almost felt like, well, let's just watch it, And then it's like, this is surprisingly okay, That's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna appreciate this, and so it's. I will definitely continue watching Willow for sure.
That's
Good.
cool.
Yeah, I
Check
absolutely
it out.
love it. Yeah, it was one of my favorite movies as a kid when I got to see it. I was always so disappointed that the toys that came out for it, at least here, were the little almost like lead figurines. Like there was no, they were
Yeah.
like the old, like tin soldier kind of things. But I love it. I'm really enjoying the show. I love the new characters, especially. I know you haven't gotten to it yet, Curtis, but there's a character called Borman who is probably my favorite character in the show at this point.
Yeah, I'll have to check
That's
that out.
a
I
big
do have
guy,
that on my list, but I'm guessing they don't have Val Kilmer in the series, or at least
We don't know yet.
Okay.
His character is definitely like talked about.
Mhm.
But yeah, they've set some things up because I know obviously with everything going on with him, his health and everything, he's
Right.
probably not going to physically show up in it, but we don't know yet.
Gotcha.
All right, Trevor said tried to watch Willow and realized why he didn't remember Willow. You have to elaborate. You have to elaborate on that. Had you never watched it, or you just didn't like it?
Yeah, he didn't like it. It's obvious
Okay.
he didn't like it. That's why he didn't remember it the main actor who plays Willow, I love the movie, but he's maybe not the best actor.
Mhm.
But it's Willow, so it's. I mean, he like I said, not everyone needs to get an Oscar,
Yeah,
I think Walter's got a pretty good question here. What's your go-to, and we'll stop and watch every time movie? I will give you guys mine. Like
Okay.
number one, if I see it, I got to stop what I'm doing and watch it. Is Princess Bride. Like for me, it's got everything that I want in a movie. It's got the action, it's got the comedy, it's the little bit of romance. I love that story in the movie.
Okay.
What about you guys?
It's hard because I don't have like regular TV, so like there's never anything just on unless I put it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's say you're visiting somebody's house and you see it on the TV.
Man, I don't know.
What's a movie that you would stop doing whatever?
Oh man, I don't know.
Me neither.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a lot of movies I'll put on as background movies. That I've seen so many times, but I mean, my all-time favorite movie is Braveheart. So like if I put that on,
Really?
it's because I'm going to sit down and watch it. Yeah.
That's my all-time favorut movie.
Yeah, my wife's cheering in the background for Braveheart.
That's right now. Like,
yeah.
You want to do Kung Fu?
No, I'm just gonna, friends, I don't
My wife's behind my computer in the background, like cheering like this. She loves Braveheart. That's her number one.
Yeah. I mean, my oldest brother tried to ruin it for me, but
how'd he try to ruin it?
He's a history professor.
Yeah.
No,
so
don't talk history. No.
I'm not. I mean, like it's like I know even movies that are based on true stories or inspired by true events. Like there was that movie years ago, The Strangers, the horror movie where the guys in the masks like knock on the couple's door who are having like a married couple fight.
Yeah.
And they're like on the swings and stuff. The true story that inspired that movie was a drunk lady knocked on the writer of the script, knocked on his door one night and asked if someone was home that didn't live in that house. That's it. That's the true events that inspired him to create this horror story. So yes, any movie that's based on historical things, even if it's stuff from when the last that we watched on TV happen in the news, it's dramatized. It's especially Hollywood. They're gonna either put their spin on it, whatever that might be, and you gotta
make it more entertaining. Like
yeah,
true stories typically aren't that you know. I mean,
But I mean,
I like watching documentaries. I find them interesting, but they're not an entertaining movie. That's not the same thing.
well, but I like The Crown on Netflix. The
Oh yeah,
Crown.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
about the British royal house, and it's like I have to keep reminding myself that this is a made-up story based on some events, of course, but I'm afraid, and I keep telling other people this, I'm afraid that even though I know this is how I'm gonna think about them as the real events. And
Sure.
it's horrible, because I realize that this is wrong, but I already, it's like, yeah, he's a pretty nice guy.
Yeah.
He is a douche. And it's like, you don't know that, Emil. You have no idea about that. You just see this scene with these actors in a situation where no other people were present. So you can't possibly have made this,
The problem I had with that
It's a
show
great
was
show.
I got really attached to the actors, and then they would do like the time jump and switch the actors, and I'm like, no, I liked the other ones, like, and so I couldn't get over that. Like that was
I
that
like
was the
the
part that
show.
really bothered me.
Just a few more
I'll,
episodes to see.
I'll throw one more movie out that like I don't watch very often because it's so powerful to me. So when I put it on, it's because I sit down to watch that specifically. Like when I've been at a friend's house and they wanted to just put it on because they knew I liked the movie for my birthday. I'm like, can we not? I'm like, I just watched it. I want to keep it special. Where some movies I can watch over and over and over, but this one is the Pixar movie Coco.
What is
About
it?
Coco,
I don't think I've seen
the
that.
the Pixar one with the
Oh.
little boys that he wants to play guitar, but his family doesn't allow music,
Okay.
and it's kind of got it's a whole Day of the Dead story. It's
Oh yeah. I've seen that.
I don't know what it was like. I was bawling in the theater when I saw that. Like I'm walking out of the theater, like sniffing, wiping my eyes, like finding the iTunes music, like buying the album soundtrack, and I just sit in the car for like 10 minutes before I could drive. Like it really affected me. So yeah, that movie really hits me hard.
How
Yeah.
about favorite Christmas movie? Anybody want to start?
Yeah, I'll go. My favorite Christmas movie, and I'm not a huge fan of Christmas movies. I do love Christmas, but Christmas movies usually are so cheesy, saccharine, Hallmark movie kind of things, right? My favorite one is the animated one, Opus and Bill: Wish for Wings That Work, based on the Bloom County comic strip.
Okay. For those of us that have never seen that, you want to give us a little rundown of what that is?
Opus is a penguin, and it was a comic strip my brother got in the 80s. Absolutely loved it. Was in the newspapers here in the States, and this whole thing, he's a penguin and he can't fly. So his Christmas wish in this movie is that he could fly, because he's a penguin, he's a flightless bird, and he goes to like a flightless birds like help therapy group where there's like a kiwi and some other birds, and it's really funny. And then Bill the cat is like this like string bean orange cat, and he's always like his eyes are always like bulging out, and he's like hacking up hairballs. It's such a weird cast of characters, and I absolutely love it. And they talk to people in the comic strip. They interact with people as if they were their own. Like, Garfield's always talking to John, but like John and Garfield don't actually talk to each other. In this, they did. Like the penguin, like he's the ombudsman for the newspaper at one point in this comic strip. But in the movie, it's fun. It's really fun, and it is Christmas, so it does have some of that. But it's just really funny, and I absolutely love it. At one point, he's brushing his teeth, and his butt literally falls off, like just like kind of Looney Tunes esque, like the back half of his tail. It just hits the floor, and it's like the metal. Like the metal bowl clanging on the floor kind of a thing, because it's so cold.
That's
And
funny.
it's such a fun little movie. I absolutely love it.
Emil, what about you?
The thing is, there's one that pops up because my wife, she's big into Christmas movies. And the movies that you talk about, the kind of Hallmark, I don't know what Hallmark is, but I understand the concept of it, you know. But when I'm sitting here, you know, sculpting or drawing or something, and she puts one of those Christmas movies on, I start by not watching and just hearing it, and then it's like, so what?
Get drawn in.
So yeah, but I mean, is he gonna let her stay in that house during the winter all alone? You know, and it's like, and then I'm there, and I'm like, this is so good, and I keep hugging my wife, and I kiss her, and she's like,
yeah,
she's just crying. So it's me who has to do the kissing because so there is her favorite Christmas movie that I guess I see every Christmas with her, and that's Preacher's Wife.
Oh, okay.
With Whitney Houston and Denzel Washington.
Yeah,
and it's like. And it's like every time I see it with her, it's her favorite Christmas movie. And when it's on, I like, yeah, I'd better just sit there right away because I know I'll end up there anyway. So it's, but I guess I don't have a Christmas favorite movie other than that.
Mine is Scrooged, which, you know, with Bill Murray, and it's, you know, kind of like this, you know, very Christmas Carol take on, you know, but it's like it was a modern version of Christmas Carol back in the 80s. So like, you know, you see like one of the good gifts that they're giving away is like a VCR. It's a brand new VCR. So it's a little dated. But I just really enjoy it. I think at the very end of the movie, Bill Murray goes into this kind of monologue. And my understanding from things that I've read after the fact is a lot of that was ad-libbed that he just kind of did on the spot. And I tear up every time at the end of the movie. Like, it's just so heartfelt and genuine. And then, you know, the little kid says, "God bless us, everyone." And that's it. I just lose it. Waterworks. So, but yeah, me and the kids and my wife, we all sit around and watch it every year, multiple times. My kids could quote it from start to finish. So that's ours for sure.
I'll say this: I've not watched either of those movies, so I will make that a priority this year to watch Preacher's Wife and Scrooged for Christmas. So,
yeah, if you don't at least get a little teary-eyed at the end, the speech at the end of the Scrooged, you just don't have a heart. I don't know. There's something about it. Yeah.
Okay. But I also love the Disney Mickey's Christmas Carol. I love that one.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's a Christmas holiday in Sweden where everyone watches Disney at the same time at 3:00 on Christmas Eve. This is the biggest Swedish Christmas tradition there is in existence. So at 3:00, everyone goes to sit by the TV and see the same Disney Christmas special as they've seen every year for the past 100 million years.
Yeah.
And we do that. And we see, yeah.
But I think there's something.
And it's a tradition that's the, yeah.
Yeah, like Jesse was talking about the Krampus movie that, you know, and I watched it yesterday, and, you know, the very beginning of the movie, you know, Jesse kind of was talking about how like all these people are fighting in a store over gifts that they're trying to get for people. And it's just like this whole thing where it's like, you realize how, as a society, we sometimes just aren't kind and pleasant with one another. And I think that's something about this time of year that it's a little bit easier for us to, you know, realize how we should be with one another. And, you know, I know for me, you know, Christmas is about Christ, and it's about, you know, celebrating the birth of Jesus. And like, you know, the cornerstone of my faith is being kind to one another and loving one another. And that's the important thing, I think, to remember this time of year. And I know I appreciate Jesse, like you do, like your Thursday shows in the Cabal and stuff. And a lot of that has been around, you know, hey, let's kind of be nice to one another. Let's be kind and care about one another this year. And I think that's great, because we could all use a little more of that for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Growing up, in the church and everything. So that's definitely my whole thing for celebration at this time of year. But like as I've grown up and I've learned history and stuff, realizing how that kind of was taken over a lot of the traditions in Europe is just interesting. So I have no problem like separating those out and appreciating those traditions for what they are. Um, and I think there's room for all of it. You know, um, so like happy holidays, that when I was a kid, that bothered me because it bothered my parents. But now it's like, no, that's fair. Like, because there's a lot of other holidays that aren't infringing on what I believe that
Mhm.
is because what is it? Kwanzaa is going on soon, Hanukkah and all this stuff. So
Yep.
yeah, it's great. So Emil, you were talking about that. I've never heard about that. That everybody watches the Disney special at the same time. What are some other, at least for your family, if not, you don't have to speak for the whole country, but like, what are some of your favorite your family traditions at Christmas time?
I would like to mention a lot of traditions here, but it's like I'm not sure. I mean, the tradition to eat with each other during Christmas, you know, um, to just sit down and just enjoy each other's company. If that's a tradition, yeah, maybe you could say that's a tradition. But it's like what we talked about. When I say Merry Christmas, I really mean like be good to each other. I hope you're having a good time, and I wish you the best. That's what when I say Merry Christmas, I really mean be merry. Be. So that's what I just that is really what I want to do. I guess I want to make sure that there are no people around me that I know sitting by themselves during Christmas. That is something that I would we in our family would make sure that if we knew that we make sure that person is not alone unless they want to, but they should know that Christmas can be spent in our house. So we're just gonna this year we're gonna spend it with my mother and her husband, and then there was another person that we thought maybe would come. My mother instantly said, "Yeah, sure. What size is her feet? Because I'm making her socks." If I think that for this year that person is going somewhere else, but I just want to make sure that they're not alone. Could you say that's a tradition to want to make sure no
Absolutely.
one is alone?
Yeah.
Especially with the way, at least over here in America, the way the world is, like families sitting down together. I know Curtis, you talk about your family tries to sit down a lot, I think.
Yep.
But I think so many families don't get to sit down and spend
No,
that time together,
and
especially older siblings. Like my family's all over the
yeah.
country. So whenever we do get to come together, like it's really special. And yeah, I think sitting together to eat is definitely a tradition.
I had 2 years ago. There was a friend of mine who I started to get to know better, and realized that she didn't celebrate Christmas at all. Because of we all have different experiences with when growing up. I mean, Christmas isn't a positive thing for a lot of people, and so it's like,
Sure.
let's change that. So we hadn't met outside of work or anything, and I'm like, "Do you want to come with us during Christmas?" She was, "What?" I mean, because we weren't that close. I said, "Yeah, my wife and our kids they're prepared for you to come," and it's like, that's her only good Christmas ever. And it's like, I'm not saying that we did the special thing, but it's just like, it's not that hard to just sacrifice some of your time. I mean, I have a lot of time where I sit by myself. I need that to feel good or anything, but maybe Christmas is not that time. Maybe Christmas is that time when you make sure no one else is by themselves. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that
well
this
said.
could be a very magical time of the year, but some people have trouble making that magic happen. And it's up to all of us to try to do what we can to, help bring that to somebody if we can. So
I think it's very. I think a thing with the Christmas times could be that that it becomes a stressful time.
mhm.
A lot of stress. Like, why stop? So this is something to start with. Don't let the stress rule. Okay. So what if you don't have all the food you want for Christmas? Maybe order pizza. Whatever. Make sure to try to get rid of the stress,
Hmm.
and then just like, okay, um, be thankful for the people that you have to celebrate with, but don't be greedy about it. Like, yeah, I
Hmm.
have, so I don't have to think about anyone else, because then you kind of miss the whole thing with Christmas, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think
okay, but that's me rambling on.
no,
But
that's
sorry.
great. No, absolutely. I think not to like get super deep on stuff, but the whole commercialization of Christmas, at least in America and stuff, is
It's not
definitely
only in America.
okay. Well, I mean, I've never really spent Christmas anywhere else, so I didn't want to speak further. But like, just how, I mean, it's all about businesses making money, and I mean, we all work at businesses, or we work jobs where a lot of people work at jobs where they require that stuff to be able to have pizza at all, or whatever. But like, I was reading something the other day about how that the solstice celebrations, the Yule and all this stuff before the Christianization of it came in, was because it was winter, and a lot of animals hibernate or go into like that kind of that and like humans need that too. We need that shutdown, or maybe not be as active. And I just thought that was
Yeah.
a really interesting take on it that I'd never stopped to think about. And like I said, after watching that Krampus movie, that all that fighting in the beginning, um just I was like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be bitter about this holiday, because it did feel magical, and I don't have my own kids or that to see the magic, passing on to the next generation. But um
But
I wanted
it's
to
not just
recapture that.
yeah, it's not just about the next generation. Perhaps maybe it's the neighbor. Maybe
Yeah,
it's the people around you, whoever they are. Maybe they're not called family, but maybe they can still get that family love.
absolutely.
So I think it's important just to give your love to someone. Your friendly love. I'm not talking about romantic love right now. It's like,
Sure.
I think it's important to just give to someone. It's not about the money. Maybe it's just a kind word. Maybe
Well,
just something that you wouldn't have said when you passed someone, but maybe you decided to say that today.
Yeah.
Just don't hold it to yourself. Like,
yeah, I think human connection is important. And a year ago at this time, I didn't even know Jesse, and Emil, I knew of you, but I don't know. I don't think that we were really talking a lot. And now I consider you both very good friends of mine. I talk to you guys on a regular basis, and um, to your point, Emil, I don't know that it has to necessarily be family, but making human connections and sharing with one another is good for us, because there's times where I'm going to be down, and I'm going to need people to help lift me up, and there's going to be times where you're down and I'm going to need to do the same. So um yeah,
and
that's
I'm gonna say that I'm often horrible. I to reach out when you're not in a good spot. Because maybe it's typical manly thing to do, but I don't know. But it's more like you go in by yourself and like, instead of, hey, I think I need
Yeah.
help right now. Can you just talk to me for a bit?
yeah.
Let's just.
I disagree that you're horrible at that, though, because there's like, I had a lot of stress going into Legions Con. It was one of the reasons why I didn't go last year, just anxiety and panic. And you checked on me several times throughout Legions Con to make sure that I was doing okay. And then even after Legions Con reached out to me to make sure that I was doing all right. So I disagree that you're horrible at that. I think you're great at that. So
Maybe horrible about looking for oneself, perhaps.
yes, yeah,
Maybe
and
maybe
that's an important part too. Like if
Yeah.
if you do need help and you need somebody, don't be afraid to reach out for sure.
Yeah. Same here.
I see Greg here says Christmas has sucked for him the last couple of years because his mom's been in Poland and he can't spend time with her. So sorry to hear that, Greg.
Yeah.
You
So,
know,
do you? I mean, maybe there is a Four Horsemen Studio Christmas celebration.
yeah,
Someone to share the Christmas dinner with, even though it's not your mom.
yeah.
You're a wonderful person. You would make a big difference for someone else on Christmas Eve to get to spend it with
Absolutely.
you. I would love to spend Christmas Eve with you, Greg.
I mean, he could put the star on top of the tree.
That's true. Everybody could use a Greg in their house.
That's not the reason I want to spend Christmas with Greg.
I know.
But it's,
You can't talk about Greg without talking about how tall he is.
Yeah.
I can.
But you know, to your point, like Greg is a lovable guy. I'm sure there's folks around there that, you know, it's like we said before, you know, making that human connection with somebody it's important this time of year for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to say this. I'll probably be at my dad and stepmom's for a little bit on Christmas Day, but I like my downtime in my home alone. I probably won't do a full live show like this on Christmas Day because it is a Sunday, but I might do something live to just hang out. So if anybody wants to hang out, something either here or in the Cabal or something, I'll do something to just hang out and spend some time together on Christmas, probably Christmas afternoon, Christmas evening. So
we had in Serbia, we celebrate Christmas on January 7th, and we decorate. It looks like the oak tree, not the fir tree, and of course, family gathering is in the center of that. So that's good.
that's awesome.
And then Danny says finding Jesse, Curtis, and Emil, and a lot of you folks has really helped his mental health tremendously. The openness of the Cabal is a real blessing. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Cabal is a good place, really, really good place to meet people.
Yep, and you know, Walter obviously he'll have Greg over at his house, and you know, we talk about the Cabal and how great it is. We got to make a mention of Walter because this community that he set up, it is more than just a toy line. It's more than just a toy community. You know, and I know, you know, we all see the posts where, you know, this figure broke, or I don't like the way they did this, or whatever. There's some of that in there. But for the most part, it's a very loving place with a bunch of people that really care about each other and care about the artistic, you know, posts that we see on a daily basis. And so I try to focus on the positive with that group, and there is a lot of it. So appreciate, Walter, everything that you've done to set that up for us, for sure.
Absolutely.
So,
well, hey guys, we're right over 2 hours. This has been a really awesome conversation that went by so fast.
Yep.
Emil, thank you so much for giving us some time today. I know you have a lot of demands, whether not demands, but things to spend your time with. So I really appreciate you taking time today and geek out about X-Men and Christmas and all that sort of stuff. So
this is the best. This is not a sacrifice or in any way. Just get to geek out. We're talking about Christmas. I'm trying to think about every day as like, I'm not gonna live tomorrow or in the past. I just want to live right now, and I enjoy this. You know, spending time with people who are wonderful and just getting to talk. You know, chat
Absolutely.
with people. Chat. That's living.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cry, Walter, of happiness.
Well, before we let you get on with the rest of your evening over there, is there anything you want to plug, say, coming up that we can be aware of? I know you've got the contest coming up soon, and I know there's a wheel going on tonight with some Wolf Den stuff, I think, right? That Cullen's running?
Yes, I believe so. That's the Toys for Tots wheel.
That's right.
But yeah, what else other than the 5,000 things that you already said that you committed to, Emil? Any other items that you got going on?
I think I want to finish one or two of these customs soon because there are not much left to be done on them. But it would be nice. I haven't posted any customs lately, and that's all in June. Actually, you know what? I can tell you something that I've never done before. I've
Okay.
actually accepted a commission.
Wow.
Commission work. Yeah. Oh, well, I did it many years ago, but now it's like a tribute commission.
Wow.
I never thought I
Wow.
would gonna take any commissions, but I'm working on one. No more comments about that.
Well, I know you're probably not going to be up tonight when we have our interview with Pete McCarthy, but check it out in the morning, Emil. I'm sure there'll be some fun laughs to be had tonight as well. So, and then for everybody watching us now, that's 9:00 Eastern tonight. Should be fun, right, Jesse?
I should be.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me on here.
absolutely.
Thank you very much, Emil. Just hang on one second. I'll bump you out and we'll wrap up and I'll say goodbye to you. Yeah, my words are not working. Emil, I'm going
I
to
know
take you
what
up.
you're meaning. See you soon.
Don't go anywhere. Yeah.
Well, before we finish up, you want to talk a little bit about the schedule coming up? Like, I know
Yes.
I'm with you tonight, and then I'll be with you, starting the first of the year on. But I know you've got some other family stuff coming up. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah. Next Sunday, I'm going to be doing my Arnold sibling family shelf-tacular event where I'm going to have my 3 older brothers and my older sister. I am the baby of the family. I've gotten them all Mythic Legions figures this year, so they have at least one figure in hand that they can look at and be familiar with. And we're just gonna do some like family reminiscing and all that sort of stuff. So that's next week. The week after that's Christmas. Like I said, I'll either here in the Cabal or somewhere I'll do a live thing and just be out. New Year's Eve, we've tentatively, or New Year's Day rather, we might do some sort of like recap if our schedules work out right. But then going into the new year, we've got a couple guests lined up for the beginning of the year. I don't want to reveal them just yet. But yeah, we're gonna new year. Curtis is coming on as my permanent co-host here. Unless he decides he doesn't want to, but yeah, no, we're gonna do that, and yeah, there's some more fun stuff coming. I've got some things. My friend Tyler, who does Star Wars customs, we're gonna do some. So that's just Shelve It or the shooting the shelf. I am gonna try to do some other things on the channel going forward. But yeah, as far as this show goes, that's where things are for now.
Sounds like fun. It's going to be a great ride.
Yes, absolutely. Greg picking up another pizza. What are you going to watch now? I don't know. You watch the beginning of this. Watch Troll. I don't know. You probably already watched Troll. All right, Curtis. Anything you want to say before we head out for the afternoon?
I just look forward to seeing everybody tonight.
All right. Yes. So thank you everybody for joining in today and our early show. And we'll be back at 9:00 tonight. And I'll be back next week with my family. And then, of course, the holidays and stuff. So Merry Christmas. Be kind, as Emil said.
There you go.
Merry, be merry. Yeah. All right. We'll catch you guys later. And as always, what's on your shelf?
See everybody.